Hey guys, welcome back to Blue Fire Toys and Collectibles. So today I'm going to be reviewing the new Bandai America Godzilla 2004 action figure. This figure was released in June of 2024 by Bandai America and touted as the very first Godzilla action figure. I actually find this claim to be a little confusing because Godzilla action figures, in the modern sense at least, date back 30 or so years to the early days of the Trendmasters Godzilla King of the Monsters line, so I'm not really sure what Bandai means by this. My interpretation is that this is the first affordable posable Godzilla action figure Bandai has released. What do I mean by that? Well, while SH Monster Arts may still be considered the gold standard for posable Godzilla action figures, in the last 10 years, and 5 years especially, these figures have largely become unaffordable to the average consumer, especially kids. And thus the new Godzilla action figure was born. So I actually recently got mine. As of the filming of this video, I got it a week ago at G-Fest 2024 from Beast of the East Collectibles. Beast of the East Collectibles is a great seller at G-Fest with great prices and friendly staff, so thanks guys. Beast of the East was selling them for $25 each, which is cheaper than I found it for online, so once again, thanks Beast of the East Collectibles. Now, there is also a Kiyu Mechagodzilla 2002 action figure available as well, but I do not have that yet. It was available at G-Fest, just not from Beast of the East Collectibles, and the seller who had it was charging $50 for it, or double what I can get it for online, which was absolutely not worth it. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the sculpt here. This is meant to be Godzilla as he appears in the 2004 movie Godzilla Final Wars, which is 20 years old this year, and which was actually just screened at G-Fest. I've always loved the look of this Godzilla, the Finero Goji or Final Goji suit, so if it couldn't be Heisei Godzilla they started the line with, I'm glad it was this one. Overall, as you can see from just looking at it, the sculpt is pretty good. It is definitely identifiable as the Final Wars Godzilla. As for paint, I'm not going to lie, I don't really care for it. I think Godzilla is far too shiny. As you can see, he glistens, I think, way too much. And I think maybe they should have used a less glossy paint and maybe a more muted paint, but that may just be me. I will say I have actually gotten over my dislike of the paint actually pretty quickly, pretty much from the time that I took it out of the package to looking at it and going, okay, this is pretty cool overall. The rest of the figure, I think, more than makes up for the glossy look of this figure. On the other hand, the spines are detailed very nicely, painted very nicely. Very nice white, but not too bright white. The nails on the hands and on the feet, very, very nicely done. It's kind of a yellow that transitions to sort of a bone white, and the teeth in the mouth individually painted, which is very nice for a figure of this lower price. The tongue also bright, vibrant red there, pretty nice. The eyes, he's looking forward, but the eyes, there's nothing special. It's just brown with a little black spot left for the pupil. But overall, I think it's fine. I think it's good. I think it looks like Godzilla, and actually the material the figure is made of, just, standard plastic, would actually lend itself pretty well to customized paint options. So if you're into that, this might be a good figure to pick up and think about doing something like that with. So now let's move on to articulation. This figure is kind of the Godzilla equivalent of a Marvel Legends figure. It's actually kind of cool when you think about that. He's got a good range of articulation. The tail has 3 segments. They're all on ball joints. The tail doesn't move all that well because, unfortunately, as you can see, it's already pre-posed. Even though it's supposed to be posable, it would have been nice if it was just straight back and then a couple segments where it was posable, but it's not. It's already pre-posed, so really it only goes off to Godzilla's left there to look very good. That is disappointing. The tail at the base of the body, where it connects to the body there, it's as you can see, does not allow a lot of range of motion, but it's not bad. And when combined posing with the other two segments here, it actually allows for pretty good posability. The feet on ball joints, they swivel completely with no real issues. No issues. I didn't even have to heat this guy up before I started moving everything. The knees on hinges move very easily, and they click. The hips there, they're on ball joints as well. Now, when you get this figure out of the package, one of the legs is disconnected, and you have to just kind of snap it on. That went on, no problems, no issues whatsoever. I believe it's the right leg that you have to do that with. Both the legs are the same, so you can actually get them in a pretty cool crouching pose there. And you can see he stands very well. There is no waist swivel, which I think actually hurts this figure's overall posability and look. If there was a waist swivel, not even necessarily hinge, just a swivel, I think it would have been overall a much better figure. The hands on ball joints, they rotate all the way around. The elbows on hinges, but what's really cool is the elbows here have a swivel out too. So they can do that. So you can actually get a pretty good range of motion with that. There's nothing at the shoulder. There's nothing at the bicep, rather, not the shoulder. There's nothing at the bicep because it can move at the elbow. The shoulders, hinges move out and rotate all the way around. The neck, nothing higher than where it connects to the body. That is a little disappointing because it does not allow for a great range of articulation. It mostly just goes up and down. You can't really look side to side without it looking kind of goofy, and it only turns that much. So, now, here's my major complaint with the figure, the articulation of the lower jaw. The mouth is supposed to open and close. Here's what it looks like closed. Here's what it looks like opened. Almost no difference. That is very disappointing. I'm thinking of modding mine so that it's much more open. I think you'd be able to do that really with a little patience, time, and heat, because it connects into the head on a ball joint and a peg. So I think if you just bend the peg, you might be able to fix it. I haven't tried it yet. I don't know if I recommend it yet. I like the figure how it is for right now, so I'm not even sure if I'm going to do that. But that's it for articulation. Okay, so moving along, one thing that I really do like about this figure is that it actually came with a heat ray effect part accessory. Here it is. Let me hold up the camera there. So you can see it's part of the lower jaw. So to swap it out, this part does get a little challenging. You kind of have to wrestle with the lower jaw a little bit. But it just comes off. Take the heat ray, pop it in. And there you go. The heat ray is a little short. It is curved down a little bit. Not really that big of an issue to me. I think it looks pretty good. And if you have the Mechagodzilla, I know the beams can kind of lock together. Not lock, but, make it look like a beam lock. So that's pretty cool. And to swap it back, just pull it off. Kind of have to bend it to the side to pull it off. And then pop the other one back in. Now, one thing that does happen periodically, and you may have just seen it there, when you swap out the heat ray for the original lower jaw, it can get a little loose, and it has a tendency to hang open. Not that that's really that big of an issue with this figure, because open and close, again, is pretty much the same thing. But just be mindful of that. After a little while, it does tend to go back to normal, and there's no real issue with it. Okay, so to give you a little idea of scale, here is the Godzilla action figure here on the right, with the Bandai Movie Monster Series Kaiser Ghidorah on the left, That is the 6-inch scale Kaiser Ghidorah, and as you can see, they actually stack up pretty well together. That's pretty much right on scale-wise. It'd be nice if Ghidorah was looking down a little bit more, but I'll get into that later because I'm actually going to be taking a look at this figure in a future video. This was yet another purchase I made at G-Fest 2024. There will be a G-Fest 2024 haul video coming up in the not-too-distant future. It's just a matter of getting things together because I bought a lot of stuff, and I'm still putting together some of it. Here's another brief example of scale. This is what the Godzilla action figure looks like next to the SH Monster Arts Godzilla -1, both from Bandai. And another example of scale here, on the right is the Bandai Godzilla action figure. On the left is the Hiya Toys Exquisite Basic Series translucent spine heat ray version of Godzilla from the 2021 movie Godzilla vs. Kong. And here, just for fun, is going back to what I said before about this Godzilla reminding me of a Marvel Legend. Godzilla holding the Marvel Legends Endgame Captain America shield. So, final thoughts on the Godzilla action figure from Bandai America. Overall, I think this is a really great and affordable figure. If this had been around when I was 9 or 10, I know I would have loved it. However, even at the $25 price range being considered cheap these days, if they are in fact targeting these new figures towards kids, this is still a pretty high price point. Do I think this is a $25 figure? Absolutely not. This would be a great $10 figure, or even maybe a stretch at $20, but $25, even with the heat ray accessory, no, it's not worth $25. Now, with all that said, I actually like this figure so much, I picked up a second one that I have yet to open. So yeah, obviously I like this figure, obviously I recommend this figure. I was willing to pay $25 for 2 of them, so I do actually recommend picking him up. If for no other reason, then it's a lot of fun to goof around with Marvel Legends figures and accessories with this particular Godzilla. And if Kyu had been affordable at G-Fest, I would have picked him up as well. I'll have to just wait until I find that at my local toy or comic store, or until he comes down a little bit in price online, because $25 before tax and shipping, that's a little bit much. So that's about it for this one, guys. I want to thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I hope that this helped you in your collecting endeavors, and I will see you in the next one.